So welcome, everybody. I am Rhodehawk, your humble host of this podcast, Bulbacast. I am really excited. For those of you who have been listening for a while, you know that I am a massive Pokemon Masters EX fan. I'm still kind of bummed that we don't have Pokemon Masters GX yet, but minor gripe in the scope of things. I do want to welcome you all. We are going to be talking about the sixth anniversary. This is one of my favorite casts to do because I get to nerd out and complain and have fun about one of my favorite mobile games. But with that, welcome. I do want to introduce everyone. I will say our humble tech person Caps is going to be making sure that all of our comments go through in the chat, and I do want to give a special shout out to Archaic, who is also streaming, being, I think, braver than I would to have people watching the game in person. But as we introduce everyone, Archaic, would you please introduce who you are, what you do on Bulbagarden, but also for an intro question, um, let us know what is the most unnecessary anniversary sync pair as of right now, and we might trigger some people with this one. Terrestrialized Red and Charizard, or Volo and Giratina.
Terrestrialized Red and Charizard. Like, no question.
Yeah.
But, yes. Hello, everyone. I am Archaic, your resident old trainer yelling at clouds. And, I'm the Bulbagarden Webmaster. You can find me pretty much anywhere around Bulba. And, yeah, do I go for the. Do I go for the Charlatan campaign and hope I get the better ones, or do I just go for guaranteed high scores? I think I'm better off going for more guaranteed stuff. And actually, I should go cold rest because I'm going to need those yellow orbs for later.
And Storm, can you please introduce us to who you are, what you do, and I basically already got your answer, so I have to ask you a different question. Um, who do you think is more unnecessary? And everyone who listens to this cast knows I am terrible with the Pokemon trainer names. Um, Irida or Gloria for this anniversary?
Hi, I'm Storm. Um, I am your resident Bulbapedia admin, um, and um, sort of the head of Pokemon Masters EX content on Bulbapedia, unofficially, of course. But yeah, you will often find me, creating event pages and updating sync pairs and all that jazz, keeping the wiki up to date. Um, and as for which is more unnecessary between Irida and Gloria, that's a tough one. I think I'd kind of have to say, um, I'd kind of have to say Gloria, just because she already has a Cinderace sync pair. She doesn't really need another one.
Yeah, I'd agree there too. Like, give us more sync pairs for uh, trainers that either don't have a pair yet or where they've only got minimal pairs. Mind you, what's Irida up to now?
Uh,
4?
4, I think.
Yeah, Gloria is up to 6 now. And that's her second Cinderace.
To be fair, I can't remember if it is Lily who has the most sync pairs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's Marnie.
Really?
Yeah,
I
she
thought
has
that.
like 8 or 9.
All right.
I can look that up quickly.
Uh,
Marnie
is it-
has 10. No, 9. Sorry, 9. Yes. Misread the thing there. You're right. Yeah, Marnie has the most. Lily only has 7.
Yeah, because Marnie got that special collaboration pair earlier this year, as well as her Academy alt, and Lily hasn't gotten anything since last year.
Yeah,
Wow.
Lily's pair for the anniversary last year was pretty dang good for a free pair.
Yeah, yeah, I still think it's funny that there's one team that somebody has managed to use one team to clear every single ultimate battle, and that team consists of Signusuit Lear, Arcsuit Steven, and Anniversary 2024 Lily. So that says something about how good of a free pair she is.
And diving right into that, I want to open us up because especially as we go, we have the terrestrial pairs, we have Volo, we got a lot happening this anniversary, but I want to open this up, because free sync pairs are valid, if not always the best. Speaking of that, so I have a two-part question for us. And I'm actually going to start with Archaic, and I would throw Caps into the mix, but I know Caps does not play this game, and I don't think we need to hear the cricket noises. But
You could throw me into the mix. I'll make something up.
okay. um, Starting with that, I'm actually going to start with Archaic, and I would like to know what free sync pair shocked you the most. I know we didn't have like major big shocking ones this year, but also which was the best in your opinion?
I mean, did we have a free sync pair that was explicitly the 6-year anniversary as opposed to with that previous Academy event?
So we did get the
We got the.
BP point sync pairs.
Oh, right.
There's like BP pairs, and there's the three pairs with the
The 3
Paldea trio.
trio. Did I just remember? Were they related to the Academy event? They were, weren't they?
No,
Oh.
no, they were part of the anniversary event.
Huh. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh right, the Terrestrial Festival event. Right. Right. Hmm. I mean, I gotta say, I didn't think any of the free pairs this year really stood out. Like, I haven't used any of them apart from the event where they were required. Well, not required, but I mean, where they gave the reward bonus. I, I mean, maybe I'm overlooking them, but yeah, they really didn't stand out to me as a pair I would be using a lot. And I mean, the BP pairs, I haven't had the ability to pick any of them up yet, so I haven't had an opportunity to really get to know them and see if they're going to be useful.
Storm, same question. Were there any free sync pairs that shocked you at all, or did you prioritize any of the free sync pairs?
Um, I wouldn't say that I was like shocked by any of them, but I do think it's neat that BPB the gym leader B from Galar that her B and Hitmontop, that's a pair. I find them kind of interesting because because they're a special attacking fighting type sync pair, which is obviously not very common, because special attacking fighting types aren't very common. So like previously, I think the only accessible special attacker in terms of fighting types was like Wally, and even then his I mean he's not bad as far as special DPS, but his sync move is still physical, so that's kind of a downside. So so yeah, it's nice that they made a an accessible fighting type sync pair that's special attacker.
That is fair.
That's going to become more important too, isn't it? Like with the whole, I forget the name, the towers.
The Pepsio towers, yeah.
Yeah, like I've stalled in some of the towers just because I do not have Pokemon of the appropriate attacks to use. Like, oh, this level special attackers do 80% less damage, and like, okay, well, I have no useful attackers for this type that aren't special, so I guess I'm not progressing. So, yeah.
I will say just a couple things. I do want to highlight the free Paldea starters. Like they're not game breaking. But they're not like terrible in my opinion. I love the fact that like Quackly can set rain and draw up hydro pump. Sprigatito.
They all set weather and zone or terrain, right? Yeah.
They do.
That's nice.
I also use Sprigatito in the like highest ranking battle, or like the daily one against Red, and Sprigatito took some solid hits. Like it's not the most game breaky sync pair ever, but they gave us that. And I also really like the fact that leading in, just want to give a special shout out to Pokemon Masters EX. Even though we haven't gotten as many great like game breaky free sync pairs, I think they have kind of like acknowledged that people don't always want to invest a ton of time and energy in the free sync pairs. So I know like during the 5.5, they gave away 3 free sync pairs and gave them the opportunity to be like 3 out of 5 completely for free, and gave supplies. And I will
Not
say,
even just 3 out of 5, 5 out of 5.
Oh, 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I also want to highlight, they gave us a lot of opportunity. Granted, the rates, in my opinion, are not terrible moving into the next thing, but all of the ticket scouts, I thought were, they're a bit obnoxious, but I personally got, I think like 6 or 7 Pokefair scouts from the tickets that you got during the anniversary, which is the next question. Actually, next topic I really want to talk about, because while not the most, the luck is a little jaded from time to time in Pokemon Masters, those free ticket scouts helped me to get a lot of decent sync pairs, or at least another number on the grid. Archaic, did you get any luck with the free ticket scouts?
I did, and if you'll let me finish this exam, I will go and show you my new sync pairs, because I've been intentionally not training them up quickly so I could get my daily mission and skip tickets. so we
All
can
right.
easily see most of them. There's a few I had to train up. Oh,
I can pass it over to Storm for a second. See what Storm's luck
oh,
was
actually,
with
no.
that.
Here we go. I finished.
Oh,
So here we go. Okay. So anything here that's under 140, I've only gotten since the start of the anniversary, and I've got a few others as well who, like I said, had to train up. So yeah, I got this guy, Signet Suit Emmett, finally. I got Signet Suit Hal. I did have to train up. Actually, it's easier to do a filter. I did train up Stephen.
You know, you can sort by date acquired.
Oh, bloody heck, can you? Data quiet. Okay. I probably. Okay, so that was the previous academy event. So yeah, I guess anything up above here or the other ones. So I only got one of the 3 anniversary pairs with Irida. I guess this must have been my BP pair. I would have picked them just for the towers because I don't have any other normal types that were good for that. But I've got a lot of pairs from Trainer Lodge mixed in here as well. But yeah, the main pair I got from the tickets was that Steven. That was nice to finally get one of those old anniversary pairs. But yeah, I probably do need to train up Annabelle as well, don't I? I hear they're pretty good for the towers as a support.
Yeah.
Annabelle and Snorlax.
Yeah.
Love that sync pair.
Oh, that's another new one I got.
Really quickly, I'm gonna pass it over to Storm, and then I'll give a brief highlight of what I got.
So from as far as new pairs go, I think the only one that I got from the ticket scouts was Guzma and Ariados, which, meh. But you know, I got additional move levels on a bunch of my limited pairs, which is nice. And I've been and I got really lucky in terms of my actual pulls. That I was able to get Anniversary Irida, Anniversary Gloria, and from the daily discounts, I managed to get Variety Hilda, Variety N, and Volo. So
That is awesome. We'll go over paid ones here in a moment, but I did want to give a special shout out as well. I don't know if many people here had gone all out, but I maxed out the special event and got the free master pair ticket. So I got to increase Annie Lily with oh jeepers, what is that? Not Necrozma, not so Lunala. I got Lunala, which is personally my favorite sing pair from that anniversary. I did also get my SS How and Tapu Koko to like 4 out of 5, which I was incredibly happy about. That's one of my favorite electric sing pairs. And then I got a bunch. I won't go over too many in detail. But as we wrap up here in a second with free sync pairs, I do want to say, additionally, well, this is a paid sync pair. Well, I'll wait on that. I will wait, but I will say when it comes to free sync pairs, the ones that they just offered for free, I will say it looks like they are increasing variety, which I love, actually. I think it's very important. But moving on to our next question, I do want to highlight in this, and I think this is an important conversation, especially for those who may be jumping on right about this time. And I'm gonna switch things up. We have a smaller cast today, so I feel comfortable doing this. And Storm, since you spend so much time, you have so much expertise. Did you feel like there was actually enough free sync pairs to justify kind of the level of free to pay? To justify the amount of paid requirement this anniversary?
Um, I would say so. Um, I mean, uh, I mean, they gave it they, um, they're being very generous with the accessibility of older limited pairs. The fact that the ticket scout includes not just poke fairs, but also variety, special costume, and whatnot. And the poke fairs being included in the EX Master Fair pool was an interesting choice. And it makes it a it makes it a nightmare for us to keep track on Bulbapedia of all the different ways that you can obtain every limited pair, but it's nice that they're making those limited pairs a little bit more accessible for new players and people who just have been even people who've been playing the game for a long time and just already have all the gen pool stuff.
It's probably a good thing that well that we haven't been tracking the exact percentages of how likely it is to find pairs on Bulbapedia, because that would be kind of insane with how much they have actually varied uh, from scout to scout. Like, it's how to put this. When they're saying, oh yeah, 10% chance of pulling X, and then you realize that the chance of pulling any individual pair is like, what, less than 1%?
0.01.
Yeah. It's a bit rough.
And so, continuing that, Archaic, do you feel like there has been enough free sync pairs to kind of offset or justify just the level of paid commitment this year to get sync pairs?
Honestly, I would like to have seen them do more. Into like, because basically they've added all this content with the towers that requires you to be able to build teams of Pokemon of only one type, and then some of the tower floors are barriers which require you to have not just Pokemon of that type, but also an attacker who is either special or is physical. And with those kinds of requirements, you can find yourself completely locked out of progression in one tower unless you have like the exact sync pairs that it expects. And sometimes those sync pairs are poker fair pairs who may not have reoccurred very often. And so I think especially with how much power creep the game has had, that some of those, say, old anniversary sync pairs in particular, it would have been nice to have them give away a few more of them. Like, just go, here, it's been 5 years, so here's all the anniversary sync pairs from 2021. Like, would that have been so hard? Like, giving people access to all the old content when you've got all the new content isn't going to discourage people from getting the new stuff when the new stuff is so much more powerful. So just give people a bit of a leg up.
I think that's very fair, and there are a couple things I want to give a little bit of my opinion as well. Um, one is a little bit of gripe, which I don't often bicker about Pokemon Masters, especially on the anniversary cast. But I feel like personally, my luck has been dog water this anniversary. I've had to invest way too many gems. That being said, I think that's bitterness. I tend to have ridiculous luck with the game, and to be fair, I did get ridiculous luck with N and Hilbert. I think that's who it is. With the Landorus and Thundurus, I cannot complain. I got like Landorus 3 out of 5 within a couple scouts and all that. We'll go into that in a moment. But I will say something I've said in the past with Pokemon Masters, which is I feel like the rates can be very bad. But often I do think they try, especially in the anniversaries, very hard, especially with how much these anniversaries really seem to be not just about Pokemon, but like Pokemon Masters EX, and look at the really cool things that we've done, kind of thing, the vibe these tend to have. But moving into that, getting into this, speaking of power creep and something that I feel like is a very valid conversation topic, which is, are there just too many paid sync pairs popping up during anniversaries, especially this anniversary? And kind of the last year where there seems to be an onslaught of sync pairs popping up. I'm going to go to you, Archaic. Do you, in all honesty, feel like there were just too many paid scouts this year?
Absolutely. Like, this year, it wasn't just the anniversary scouts. It was also the whole, I mean, like what's happening now with this rerun Academy event. Like, we've got all these events all bunched up, and there's huge FOMO over, well, will we actually have another chance to get them again? Or in the case of this Academy event, it's like, well, I need the pair because otherwise my collection of the orbs isn't as good, and so my sync pair from the event won't be as good at the end of it. And it's a huge pain knowing that this pair is basically not going to be very good because I just can't gather the orbs I need for it, unlike what I had for these other ones where I had multiple 2x bonuses and was just drowning in orbs. So yeah, it's I would, even if it was less odds of getting it, I would prefer less sync pairs at this point. There's just too much content being added, and the feeling that you need basically all of it in order to beat various events. I mean, heck, later once I've finished this Academy event, we can go and have a look at the Ultimate Battles. I haven't done any of them because I don't feel like I have the pairs for it because they all would cost me so much money to get. And maybe you can teach me how to beat some of these events because I know you're better at the game than I am.
I will be honest, I don't do the ultimate events. I know Storm probably knows a lot more than me. But before we get into that, Storm, same question. Do you think there's just too many sync pairs as paid in general this anniversary?
I mean, I think it's been an issue for a while that they're releasing too many sync pairs per month. that it used to be that we would get 2 at the beginning and 2 in the middle, and that was it, and that was fine. But then but then there are just so many. They just keep coming up with all alts and releasing new characters, and if they don't have any ideas, they'll just throw in a variety alt, and the variety pairs I think are probably the most cash grabby, and low effort, but yeah, I mean that's not a new thing per se. I mean, I still remember 2 years ago, the anniversary where they released, within the span of 1 month, they released Paulo and Tina and all 4 of the Rocket executives and Palmer and Argenta, and that's not even getting into the actual anniversary pairs. And that was kind of insane.
Oh, the infamous Team Rocket Scout. My goodness. I will be honest. I am just glad they did not do that again.
Yeah.
Because that in my opinion is peak Pokemon Masters cash grab. Because there was like 6 Sinks pairs in there. That's anyways, getting into this, I could easily complain. People know I do not like that whole thing that they did. But so now getting into it, we actually covered a lot of my questions just within this question. And I have a whole discussion topic for us about the terrestrial sync pairs. But I'd like to actually open this up. I'm gonna go back to Storm. And so especially because you know so much about the game. What advice would you give new players regarding the gacha mechanic?
I would say save your gems. Like the free pairs that you get from like the main story and stuff are good enough to get you going, and so you should save and only pull on your favorites, and you will probably wind up getting some others along the way, and don't pull on gen pool banners, but it's not like they release gen pool banners anymore anyways.
Not often, no. I mean, as someone who is a free player, it feels like, well, like you said, save your gems and only spend them on Pokemon that you really, really like, or where it's like something like a Master Fair or an Arc Suit pair scout. Like, maximize your chances of getting 5-star sync pairs, because anything that's not a 5-star sync pair is basically useless, and you'll be able to, you'll be able to level up those 3-star and 4-star pairs to 5-star without too much trouble if you play for long enough, but they won't be the same power as a native 5-star. You'll get free pairs from the what's it called again? The trainers.
Trainer Lodge?
Trainer Lodge. Yeah, you'll get free pairs from the Trainer Lodge that are that are much better than other 4-star pairs, and you'll be able to fairly easily get them up to at least move level 3 and push them up to 5-star. So like they'll be better than any of the 3 and 4-star pairs that you would get from the general scouts anyway. And I guess don't let the FOMO get you. Like, there's going to be a bunch of levels you are not going to be able to complete because you do not have the right sync pairs, and that's how the game's designed. It's designed to make you go, oh, I need to get this sync pair to do this one level, but like the rewards you get for that level are not worth what you get from or what you need to spend basically to get that sync pair. So, like, just don't worry about it. They'll replay events eventually, most of them. Um, so you're not really going to have problems, and so long as you're diligent about like logging in and doing the event missions every day, like you'll finish each event. It's not going to be an issue. You don't need it to finish an event on time.
And just adding to that, I will say there have been a lot of great advice that I highly encourage people to take to heart. Just throwing in there a couple things that have been kind of said, kind of not said. Um, the other thing I want to emphasize is this is a game where realistically, unless the battle is really hard, you can go through with older sync pairs and still get decent amount. The other thing that I want to give a PSA on is the gotcha mechanic, especially at the level it's at now. You I do not recommend becoming a whale. Like don't invest a ton of money. Don't do that unless you have the funds. But the other thing I want to say is really quickly, not to be a downer on Pokemon Masters, but there's a reality to freemium games, and so I always encourage boundary with the game. I play this game almost daily. It is, a lot of my life. But I do want to say, like, even as bad as some older sync pairs are, and I say bad in the sense like they have been outclassed rapidly. There are amazing sync pairs that seemingly come out every month that are great, but you can still beat a lot of the games. You can still beat a lot of the modes. And unless you're going to go for the ultimate battles, which I don't recommend because I lose my sanity trying to do those, I just encourage have fun and make sure you are not over investing in the game. True to anything. But I would also say, if you want to start playing, I would encourage now. Now is a good time to do it. A little late into the anniversary, but there's still going to be things. There's still going to be gems. And the last thing I would also say, as a collector, draw, like as we've all said, draw those boundaries with the collection. Especially as someone who has, a couple few hundred sync pairs. Part of the biggest problem of having all these sync pairs is eventually you're gonna stop using them for the sake of new ones, and it gets a little like the game is great for variety. You get to do lots of cool stuff, but having every single sync pair is not going to give you the opportunity to use them all. Moving into that, I also want to say, and I know I reiterated a lot, but I wanted to say it. Going into the terrestrial sync pairs, and first of all, also, if you're listening on Twitch, please join us in the conversation. We will be doing a conversation here in a moment, pulling you all in. But I want to get in the terrestrial sync pairs because it's been teased for a while, and whole new level on top of Arc Sync Fairs and Neo Champion and alts and all these different things. Getting into this, oh, so much to say. Archaic. So I know you have one, so I think this is pretty simple at this point to ask you, but is Irida still your favorite terrestrial sync pair? And what makes that sync pair stand out?
I mean, they're my first decent special attacking poison type. That they feel extremely overpowered, but I mean that's pretty standard for a lot of the new pairs that are released. It seems. Um, the terrestrial moves being able to be used and spammed so cheaply feels well, cheap. Uh, it I mean, what you were saying before about like you don't need to use the latest sync pairs to beat events. I mean, most things in the game are balanced around the old sync pairs, and these new sync pairs effectively break the game. They are just that much more powerful, uh, and the old events don't really like they can't really handle it. They're not balanced for it. Um, so getting even one of these more recent pairs on your team, if you're a free player, can basically mean that you wipe the floor with a lot of the content that's in the game to date. And Irida feels like that, and yet Irida's still not enough on their own to beat some of the new content. So, yeah, I mean, I went for them largely because they filled a role that I didn't really have any sync pairs that fit. Maybe I should have gone Gloria instead because I'm even worse for rock types. And poison, I thought I was okay for rock, but the pair I had for that is actually a poison pair, so I couldn't use them. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's good that they added terrestrialization. It was about time. There's a lot of like they are behind the main series in mechanics and everything, but at the same time, I can't help but think, you could have added this to old sync pairs as a new trick that sync pair could do, or you could do that with Mega Evolution, since that's coming up as the big main series thing again. You could have a bunch of old sync pairs suddenly be upgraded and now be able to do Mega Evolutions when they weren't previously. Like, why not make these old sync pairs useful again instead of only introducing this as a new mechanic? I feel like that's a wasted opportunity.
They don't make money that way.
Well, then they just bring the sync pair back in a new banner. There's a lot of people who don't have the. I think that's part of my frustration with them. That like there's so much old content that is so hard to get access to because they're just releasing new stuff because they're effectively only catering to the whales who already have everything. But there's a lot of players who don't have all that old stuff who would like it, but it's also not really useful if they do get it because of the power creep.
Jumping off from that, Storm, what's your favorite terrestrial sync pair? And what makes them stand out?
Does it have to be one of the anniversary ones?
It doesn't have to, but I think I know which one you were going to say, and I was definitely going to give a special shout out to Kieran.
Yes, Kieran is so good. I just like having like fighting zone, like being able to set fighting zone and sunlight is really good. And then his body his Terra move is super cheap and just gives you like an Omni debuff, which is super helpful in ultimate battles. and yeah, he's I mean, yes, Irida has been helpful in the ultimate battles too, but yeah, Karen is my fave.
I think that is completely fair. So I'll be honest, I have Red and Charizard with the Dragon Terra type, and yes, he's a good click button, everything dies sync pair. I mostly invested in him because I was like just shy of having him and I wanted him. But I will say, not having the other two at this point because I'm drawing boundaries and trying not to invest a ton of money into the anniversary, which pulling back, I will say really quickly, as a whale, pulling back substantially on this game, it is culture shock for sure.
I think it's
But I,
very interesting that you're using the word invest rather than spend.
wow, Archaic is calling me out on stream. I love it.
I mean,
I
it's very typical whale behavior. Like, I mean, long time viewers know I literally have a PhD. One of my the people who was doing their own PhD together with me was doing their PhD on whales, on people playing gacha games and talking all about the psychology of how people do this stuff. So it wasn't my research topic, but I had a lot of discussions with him on this thing. And yeah, it's very interesting the terminology that a lot of whales use, that you use words like invest rather than spend. It's a very different mindset.
And for those listening, if you don't know, that is Archaic being kind, but in fact calling me out, and I love it. Which is fair. I am I've been playing this game for 6 years now, and I definitely have been a whale. But that being said, I do want to, because whole thing also to get pressure off of me for a second. I do want to highlight, and I know it was right before, technically shortly before, but just because I don't have the other sync pairs, I do want to highlight Carmine and is it Poltergeist?
Yeah,
Or
poltergeist.
Pol- Pol-
Oh wait, which
I
one is
know
it?
it's
No, it's
the
Sinistra.
Oh, it is Sinistra. Yeah.
Sinistra. Thank you. I can never remember based on like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Uh,
the
just
way they
just
changed that up.
just briefly, I just wanted to highlight on the stream. This is what I ended up with after doing that whole academy event. This is what my problem is with the current one. That unless you get those two uh, pairs from the scouts who will give you the ×2 bonus, it is incredibly difficult to get a very full sync grid for this academy pair. And like I compare this to some of the ones I got for other events where like they, I mean we can have a look. I think no, I can't do it without starting the event again. But like almost the entire top area filled out, and this just feels kind of pathetic. Like this an S. The other events I was in S plus.
This is Rosa and Deerling, right?
Uh, yeah, this is the second version of the pair. So we now have the summer version, whereas previously it was a spring. Um, Mind you, I've been training them up in the exact same way because uh, training them up as a physical attacker just didn't really make any sense.
Fair. Just to finish my earlier thought, I really do like Carmine and Sinasha, just because, speaking of going for the sync pairs you love, I love Sinasha as a Pokemon. I played through the Kitakami DLC using a Sinasha, and one of my favorite regional form, well, not a regional form. I think it's divergent evolution. Anyways, all the terms. I'm not going to get into it, but I love that sync pair.
Ecologically similar Pokemon, according to the website.
I feel like I'm getting it from both people now. I'm gonna shrink back in the cast and not say anything for a while. Speaking of that, that's actually perfect time. Caps, do we have any unique comments or questions?
Don't worry, Rhoda. I'm here to save you. We don't have any questions for the panel yet. Chat. I'm looking at you. If you have anything to ask, please ask questions.
I did see the comment from the chat about May and Kyogre, and I agree that May and Kyogre is extremely useful for a lot of things.
Was gonna bring that one up. Vendre says her favorite sync pair of the last year is May and Kyogre, which sounds like one heck of a combo. I wouldn't know, but anyway,
May and Kyogre, like with the right team, May and Kyogre can one hit kill like the entire opposing team at once. Like with the I mean, I can't show it obviously because we aren't in the right one, but for the daily region rotation when it's on Hoenn, a team with May in it can one hit that daily region rotation, which is ridiculous. Like when those battles were originally introduced, they were meant to be like somewhat difficult things every day that would get you a good reward, and like you'd find out what strategy works for you, and then you'd do them every single day. But yeah, just being able to trivialize that is kind of very silly.
Yeah, another comment I wanted to highlight, kind of taking things in a different direction, was Bugcatcher Jade popped in earlier and said, kind of around when we were talking about like the pull rates, they were like, sometimes for gotcha games an 8% is as good as 100%. And this is true, especially if you're doing multi-pulls. I only play one gotcha game, but that is very true. And honestly, like I feel like it's probably like Masters is probably harder to get some of the pulls in Masters. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the rare ones, just because there are so many characters and sync pairs now. It's like it's probably pretty difficult to get rare pairs in the general pulls, but even in event pulls, I'm sure it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, like the event, the scout banner might say like 10% chance for 5 stars, but then like each individual 5-star that's available in that particular pool is like 0.0 something percent, and like to get a specific rare pair is incredibly difficult. And then many of the times when you do get a 5-star pair, it's an old general pool one that's just not very good anymore.
To also give context on that, when I was pulling for Charizard at like the new Red and Charizard, I actually maxed out my, and I can never remember these two people's name correctly. I think it's Brendan, the main character in the game. I actually got him and Latios to 5 out of 5 before I was at 2 out of 5. I got 5 out of 5, and then 1 extra before I got Red. Which is, if you know the Latios sync pair, they are a fantastic Hoenn support. But when you're trying to get the new sync pair and you're literally seeing this like one you already have 5 times, it is a bit demoralizing. So
yeah.
One thing I would like to, I'll ask this question after you go, Archaic. Sorry.
I mean, I was just going to agree with that. Like, I'm sick of seeing the 3 and 4-star pairs. Like the fact that I see them so constantly, these pairs that have become just completely useless. It's why I don't pay. I don't see any value in it because most of the stuff I'm going to pull is going to be completely useless trash, and you're paying how much for it? I mean, at least if I'm buying Pokemon cards, I get a nice physical artwork thing that I can do stuff with, even if it is bulk. But with pulling a sync pair that you've already got, it's like, so I don't even get a nice digital JPEG of this because I already had that. I get a what a 3-star power-up item that, because I've played for so long, is completely useless to me because all my 3-star sync pairs are already powered up. The reward doesn't feel sufficient.
Really quick, Caps. I completely relate, Archaic, but Caps, what was the other comments that we had?
Yeah, we did have one question from Hilbert who asks, how do you all feel about the event point system for events now? It's been about a year since they started that, which I think you guys might have some good insight on.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, the instead of being able to choose your items, you have to get a certain amount of points to get items. Oh, those little coin things.
Yeah.
So I have to feel like, really quickly, I feel like that has to be something of value in the future. Because especially with the main event where you could go all the way up to 30,000 points and yes, you got a free Master Sync pair. The fact that those just accumulate for no reason, one feels very strange to how Pokemon Masters works. Like they've been known to just like throw in a random item with very little explanation, and have it be useful later on. But it is a little aggravating.
Yeah, I mean, this whole event point system, like, previously you could get your 4-star medal within a day, fairly simply, if you were focused. And then you might, if you weren't interested in the event and in the bonuses, you wouldn't do it again. So what this really is, like, I actually see it as something that's anti-casual. It's forcing you to be dedicated and do the event daily, and I mean, you don't necessarily need to do a lot, but most events can be passed if you just do like all your stamina on the first day, and then every day after that you just do the daily battle. And I mean, if you've got a lot of events happening at once, that's an easy way to pass the older events while putting most of your stamina into something that really needs it, like this one where we actually needed to spend 30,000, which was pretty unusual. But yeah, it's just the level of commitment that you need to put into doing it every day. Like, I understand why they're doing it from a profit perspective, because they want their players to feel invested in the game, but it also really makes the game feel like a bit of a chore. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm being forced to play the game just to get my bonuses.
What do you think about it, Norm?
So I mean, I'm already in the habit of playing the game every day, so to me, it's not that doesn't make much of a difference. And it's kind of nice to kind of gradually get rewards over the course of a few days instead of just getting everything on the first day and then it's like just um, doing having to remember to go into the shop and exchange my stuff. So yeah, I've kind of grown. I've grown to enjoy the event point format, and I especially like that we've had one event point event get a rerun, and on the rerun they included it still included battle points in the rewards. That was something about the old style of events where battle points were only included on the first run of the event. Reruns wouldn't include the battle points. So that's a change that I like. I mean, not that I need any of the BP units, but you know, it's that your brain gets a little shot of dopamine every time you get a prize, and it makes you happy, and that's kind of the the BP and the event points all kind of leverage that aspect of psychology. So and that's very motivating for me. So
I'll admit I hadn't actually realized that there were BP point rewards on the reruns. I'd been skipping a bunch of reruns because I was like, well, I already have the medal. What's the point? Most of the rewards are like things I don't need. And the only reason to go for them were like move candy coins. But if there's BP points as well, that's actually a motivation to me because I do need these BP pairs. It makes a like for some types they're still the only master sync pair you can get. So for the towers, that's actually kind of important.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, there has only been one event that reran with where you could actually obtain event points, and it was the Florian and Juliana's debut event, and that was part of the pre-Annie celebration. So it could be that was just a one-off because it was leading up to the anniversary, but time will tell.
And so I'm gonna move us forward just a little bit, just to the sake of time. But with everything we've said, there's been a lot of positive and a lot of the negative. But especially as we get closer and closer to wrapping up, I want to move us into some realm of positivity again as well. So that being said, now we haven't talked a ton about the story content, and Storm, I'd actually like to ask you really quickly, what was your favorite either returning or present story of the events that have been part of the 6th anniversary, and why was that your favorite kind of story within this anniversary?
Well, they did they reran the stories of 10 different events, which actually last year they had done a poll on Twitter where they asked fans to vote for their favorite story events, and all of the events that reran were that weren't necessarily in the same order as the results, but every event was somewhere in the top 10 of both of those polls. So that's where they got these 10 events from. And I enjoy most of them. But I think my favorite out of all of them would either be Chase the Northern Wind or One More Step to a New Path. Which is Chase the Northern Wind is Using and Signa Suit Silver. And One More Step to a New Path is the Sharon and Bianca Neo Champion event. And I like the Sharon and Bianca Neo Champions event is, as a Sharon and Bianca shipper, that event makes me very happy. Because it's just the way that they show that the two of them, care about each other and they've helped each other grow, and the fact that they both have the exact same definition of strength. It's just, it's so sweet. And then Chase the Northern Wind I love because first of all, it is directly responsible for the fact that I'm now obsessed with using. And I also just think it's really interesting the way that they took these characters who don't interact in the main games at all and made them foils to each other. And the way that Silver this is cynical and using the Dreamer, and they kind of and so you kind of get to understand both of them better by having them interact, and you really get to see Yusin's dedication to Suicune, and that he really does deserve to be paired with it, and all of that, and seeing how much Silver has grown over the course of his journey. That's awesome. And then and also just the fact that the way that they have the Yusin giving Silver the egg at the end, which then ends up tying into Silver's Neo Champion event. That was a cool little bit of foreshadowing. And so it's it's one of those things where that makes me go, there is somebody on the Masters writing team who really loves Silver, because they give him really good story events. But yeah, those are my favorite story events.
Archaic, do you have a favorite story event that ran this sixth anniversary, and what was it and why?
So I'm going to be a bit unusual here. I'm going to call it as that rerun of Florian's introduction event. See, what I'm interested in with Masters EX story is some of the deep lore of how is it that all of these trainers from all of these regions and seemingly different time periods have managed to all be in this place, and why aren't they questioning that fact? And I want some of these answers to especially because we're getting up to the spooky season, and when you think about it, some of the implications of this are spooky. Why is it that none of you are questioning the fact that all of these people gathered from all these different time periods, and you're just and literally different universes, and you're just accepting it? None of you thinks, hey, I haven't gone back home and seen my family for ages, or anything like that. There's some really creepy implications with some of this stuff here, and I want them to dig into that lore more. So any little hint of that sort of stuff, even just here where it's okay, we literally have a character from a literal other universe, and everyone's oh yeah, that happens here.
I will give a shout out. I want to see the day we get Hoopa Unbound for that exact reason.
It has to happen.
Yeah,
technically we already got Hoopa Unbound. Just wasn't playable.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. My favorite. I'm gonna be a little unusual as well. And it's not necessarily a story event, but I'm gonna give a special shout out. I said this a little bit but I love to see all of the little things that the Pokemon Center has that are new. Um, I've said this before. Part of the reason I play Pokemon Masters EX is honestly the people behind this, and I know this is said to a degree, they really seem to love Pokemon as a brand. And especially last year, and for me this year, it really felt like the big thing this year was we had an amazing year last year where we celebrated us and what we've done. And this year, it really felt like a bigger version of that. It really felt like, holy cow, Pokemon Masters has been around this long, which, let's be honest, not many Pokemon mobile games have been around as long as Pokemon Masters. Um, and I just love the fact that the team continues, no matter how chaotic it is, they really try to hone in on that and celebrate the game and the team. And this year, through all the colors, through all the neat little things they did, especially bringing in so many opportunities to get other sync pairs, it really just felt like that bigger version of a celebration. And that's my favorite thing to see, especially with all of the story elements that they pulled in. And I think that's, one of the biggest reasons I play this game is there's so much love for Pokemon put into it. And I know we don't have a lot of time, not much at all. But I do want to say, for those of you listening who are really kind of wondering if you'll pick up the game, I encourage it. I would not advise adding a credit card to your account. But there's one last thing I really want to do with the time we have left. And I said I'd pull in Caps, and I haven't done that yet. I know we have to wrap here in about 10 minutes or so. But Caps, I want to throw a special question for you. You've listened in to the Pokemon Masters anniversary chats. Has this year caused you to consider playing the game based on the conversation we've had more than any previous year or less than any previous year?
So I think for me, and I was talking about this in chat earlier, the thing with gotchas that draws me away from them is I feel like when you step away from a gotcha for an extended period of time, it's very difficult to get back involved. And I know you guys are always like, well, no, that's not true. That's not true with Masters. Like, there's all of these reasons, to get involved. I think it's something that I can see myself getting into. I mean, like, I re-downloaded the game like during this cast just to like poke around and see what resources I could grab for free for not logging in like a year, and to gamble a little bit. But like, I think for me, and maybe it's like specific to events, right? But for me, the thing that would really draw me in is like seeing some of the cool character designs and character alts and stuff that I'm sure exist in the game. I just haven't found them yet. And really trying to grab those is probably what I would do. Like I don't necessarily know if I would be in it for the combat. I don't know if I would be in it for the lore, but trying to see some of my favorite Pokemon characters and cool outfits is really what would draw me in. I don't know if that answers your question well or not, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I mean, I would say that like Masters EX, because of the power creep, the whole I haven't played this game for so long, so I'm going to be too far behind, isn't actually that big of a deal. Like they've only just increased the level caps recently. We can now go to, what is it, 180, or but actually, is it 180? But then you need the Plaque of Perfection.
It's the Certificates of Excellence go up to 180. Plaque of Perfection brings you up to 200.
Yeah, so cap realistically is 180 for most people, but if you have sync pairs at 140, most of the content in the game up to this point is already balanced around 140, and even just raising them to 150, because you can now easily get the certificates of excellence thanks to the tower, and just like keeping up on that, and you're getting a whole bunch of free certificates every week. I mean, like, I've got hundreds of unused certificates right now. So it's pretty easy to get into things. Like, just
as a hint of how unnecessary the max level is, I have not upgraded a single sync pair to level 150, and I've beaten all the ultimate battles, so
yeah.
And to give context, the ultimate battles are like the toughest. They are not easy at all.
Yeah, they are quite difficult. So the fact that they can be, I mean, a lot of them are trivial if you overlevel your Pokemon. So it is an easy game to get into in that respect. And like the sync pairs it tries to push all the time are the trainers in cool costumes. So you're definitely not going to be short of that.
Awesome. So I'm gonna begin to wrap us. You know what? I'll throw in a Legends ZA outro just because that game announces soon. But Archaic, can you as we begin to wrap up, first of all, before I jump to Archaic, I do want to say thank you to everyone who has listened. If you're on YouTube listening to this and you've made it this far, first of all, thank you immensely. Also, let us know what your favorite sync pair is. Just a reminder, as of right now, there is extra time to get terrestrial sync pairs, and they did just do the new data update. So we will be finding out about new sync pairs very soon. Actually, especially as one of my favorite times in Pokemon Masters is coming up, which is the autumn or essentially spooky season, without saying it's spooky season sync pairs. I love the holiday sync pairs. But Archaic, can you remind everyone of who you are, what you do, and then we'll do a fun one. Who do you prefer, Mega Raichu X or Y?
Well, I'm Bulbagarden Webmaster, resident old trainer yelling old terrier, Archaic. You can find me, pretty much anywhere on Bulba. I don't get around much outside of Bulba these days, unfortunately, because I'm so busy. Mega Raichu X or Y? Neither. The electric rat has always been overrated. So, actually, I will say a shout out to ABC TV Australia, who yesterday did a Pokemon special of their good game SP, and they had their little puppet character there doing the whole anti-Pikachu rap praising Bulbasaur. Like, if you haven't seen this, go look it up on YouTube. I don't think it's geo-blocked, but yes, I appreciated the Bulbasaur winning the rap battle there as well. And what one closing thing, actually, is Masters related, but I forgot to mention it earlier. I just wanted to say that it felt very sus that they decided to have Irida's sync partner be Typhlosion. In the context of everything from the past year, that felt like an incredibly sus decision.
Why do you say that?
I can't say on stream.
Yeah, it's probably best that we move on from that.
We don't need to go into that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Legitimate.
You got the trainer from Hisui. Like, if it had been anyone else, fine, but you did it with the trainer from Hisui.
Just to move us on from that can of worms, Storm, can you remind everyone who you are, what you do on Bulbagarden, and now my focus is completely thrown off. And then I'm actually, you know what? Because Archaic called me out yet again. Storm, Mega a Chestnut or Mega Delphox, which is better?
Okay, so I'm Storm. You can find me on Bulbapedia editing our Pokemon Masters EX content. And you can also find me on the Bulbagarden Discord. And on Bulbapedia we cover the facts and not anything that was from unofficial or leaked material. And I know you didn't ask this to me, but I wanted to give my answer anyway. I prefer Mega Raichu. Why? Because it looks more like a Alolan Raichu, and I love Alolan Raichu. And as for the Kalos Starter Megas, Delphox is my fave.
And so once again, everybody,
Sorry, can I chime in on something relevant to that? So,
really quickly.
Okay, so people know that, like, on social media, Bulba, for a while now, we've been posting, like, what the top and bottom 6 Pokemon are every month. Okay? So, would you all like a preview of what the top and bottom 6 for this month are? Because, like,
we
I
can
don't
do it real quick.
Yeah, because I don't think these stats are likely to change all that much when you consider it. So, this is relevant to what we were just doing here. You'll see in a second. But the number 1 Pokemon for the month, by far, to the extent where it's actually the 3rd most popular content page on Bulbapedia this month. Malamar. It's Malamar. By far. Malamar. Number 2. Surprisingly to me, Raichu. Now, having said that, it is only about half as many hits as Malamar. but I mean, Malamar just dominated, but Raichu is 2nd. 3rd, very surprising given how late in the month the announcement was, Greninja. And then our top 6 is rounded out with Eevee, Pikachu, Charizard. So, let's go and have a look at the bottom 6. I'll just wait for the analytics page to load. Okay, so the bottom 6, huge changes here. In particular, because Quilladin is no longer around the bottom 6. In fact, I haven't checked where it is currently, but it jumped at least 200 positions last I checked.
Wow.
So, thanks to its evolution getting a Mega, it is no longer stuck at the bottom. Instead, we get a different grass mid Evo at the bottom. So our bottom 6 in position 1020. First time in the bottom 6 for a very long time. Might be the first time ever. Spupa. 1021, Silicobra. 1022, getting off the wooden spoon position, Tranquil. 1023, Clang. 1024, the new addition to the bottom six, Thwacky. And then, oof. I'm sure we can all guess 1025. We all know it. So let's say it together. Simipour.
Pikachu. Dang it.
No, Pikachu's in top 6.
Wait, no Trumbeak?
No Trumbeak. Actually, you're right. Let me double check where Trumbeak is.
So yeah, we do have to move on really quickly here.
Yeah, we'll be quick. I'm sure Trumbeak will be in the next bottom. Whoa, what? How far has Trumbeak climbed? It's not in the next 10 below that. Where is it? Oh my, it's gone up quite a bit. What the heck? Yeah, we'll have to move on. I don't know where Trumbeak is. I'm going to have to look for it. Holy heck. What the heck?
Wow.
Well,
good job, Trumbeak. I have no idea why, but good job.
You heard it here. Archaic has lost Trumbeak. The Pokemon no longer exists. Has gone off the greener pastures and better places. But really quickly here, I will do my sign out. I am Rhodehawk. You can always find me on the Bulbacast each month. I know we had a big difference between time, but that was actually quite worth it. As you can also find the Bulbacast shorts, me losing my mind at this point, trying to scout different Pokemon Master sync pairs. Wednesdays and Sundays for that. Additionally, I also want to encourage people, if you want to see some Pokemon Legends ZA Bulbacast, we will be doing that very soon. Incredibly excited about that. I know we have talked about that game non-stop that year. I still say justice for Pokemon Coliseum. I am waiting for that more than ZA. But, Caps, do you want to give us our outro? Let them know who you are and last thoughts.
Sorry, before you do, I found them.
Problem.
Before you do, I found them. Quilladin is at 938. Trumbeak is at 817.
Wow! I'm so proud of him!
I don't know what's happened. I'm going to have to find that out, but that's like... I think that's almost double as many views as last month for Trumbeak. What did Trumbeak do?
I don't know.
I'm gonna throw it out to Caps.
Yeah, justice for Trumbeak indeed. I know some of our Twitter followers have been pushing for Trumbeak to get out, so that's probably where it came from. But anyway, I do want to outro out here because I know Road has to go. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you as always. Archaic Storm, thank you guys for hopping on the Bulbacast. It's always nice to have you guys both on. Also, fun to hear about a game that I never play, and getting some perspective from the side of the fandom that I don't interact with too much. But I mean, I did pull like 2 5-stars in the time that we were talking. So, I mean, maybe my luck has turned for the better. Maybe I should actually play this game a little more. But anyway, I did want to make it known a couple of extra streams we've got going on. Not necessarily extras, but what we've got going on in the next couple of days on the channel. Tomorrow morning, you'll find me live playing some Mystery Dungeon, as I tend to do. That's going to be a little earlier than it's scheduled on the Discord, so just be aware of that. Tomorrow evening, if she's feeling all right, Dawning will be doing some digital art. On Sunday, Maniacal Engineer will be returning to Kanto now to close out his Crystal series. Not done with it yet, but he's getting there. And then check out our streams throughout the week as well. We just had a new series pop up last week with Abby is back on the channel doing some Unite. So yeah, we've got lots of new stuff coming, especially as ZA is around the corner. I'm considering maybe playing some ZA for you guys. I also just got a Switch 2, so I was thinking of doing a little showcase for the how the Switch 2 plays with Scarlet and Violet, especially. It's like night and day. So keep an eye out for that. Be sure to check our Discord. I'll go ahead and put the link here. If you want any notifications for any of our series on Twitch, or just want to chat with us off stream, there's a channel for you to do that in there. But yeah, that's really all I have. Back to you, Rode, to close it out.
Don't forget as well, launch day ZA, I will be doing a 12-hour stream.
Yes, Archaic Marathon stream for ZA launch day.
Yep.
So tune in for that. We'll have a special event for that on the Discord too.
Yeah, and remember, I'm in Australia, so that launch for me is quite a few hours before the US. So yeah, look forward to that.
Well, thank you, everybody. As we wrap up today, I do have to head out here very soon, but I appreciate all our listeners. And for those of you who are searching for Trumbeak, he has been found, little guy. But as we end as well, like I said, ZA Bulbacast, we also have several awesome ones planned for the rest of the year. It's going to be an awesome end to the Bulbacast in general, and genuinely for the people who keep showing up and communicating with us, we cannot thank you enough. This project has improved and grown rapidly. So thank you, and we will head out.